Hi everyone, my name is Alan Hayman. I am the co-founder of XCO Digital, and I'm a developer. I thought it'd be interesting to really spend a couple minutes just to tell you the developer's perspective for working with the Smithsonian and specifically with the National Zoo. It hasn't all been bad, although it is long. Kind of like waiting for all the presentations today, and I appreciate you guys waiting as well. So while this is loading up, I'm going to tell you that we've had a really great experience with the National Zoo, primarily because it's a working partnership. It's been really great for us to have a collaborative opportunity to work with the folks at FONS, to work with Nancy and the folks here, but also to work with a company called Cortina Productions that helped us with the content development. So it took not quite a village, and our experience with Smithsonian contracting, while it was long, I can tell you that they finally understood what a smaller developer needs to do in order to work well with the Smithsonian. Jennifer Crone in contract did a fantastic job, and for us that was pretty important. So can I go to slideshow? Will that work? Yeah. Okay, great. So we started out with an RFP. We were in the first sequester. We got to a point where we weren't hearing from anyone, called back and said, what's the story? We said, we don't have any budget, we don't have any people to use your content management system. So we said, well, we still really want to do this app. Do you want us to come up with a new idea? So we came up with a new idea, but we had zero budget, okay? In fact, we're paying the National Zoo, okay? So if you're interested in doing an app and you don't want to pay for it, maybe you want to talk to us. But that's really, you know, we're a little different maybe than some of the other guys. But at any rate, one of the things that I wanted to tell you is that people ask us what makes a successful app. So it's part art, and the art is, you know, what is the content that's going to resonate with your audience. It is a science, and I just mean our technology, but I think the science of presenting the educational experience, and that's something that you guys are very familiar with. We are not in the content business, although we did bring content to the table or the opportunity to develop content. But it's also about convenience for visitors, okay, very important to them. It's about entertainment, entertaining your visitors. We do that with cams and other things, and it's really about having fun. And if your app doesn't do all of those things, I have to tell you that it won't be a big success. Okay, it might be a mild success, but it won't be a big success. If you do all those things and you do them well, you have a shot. There's so many apps in the App Store, I can tell you it's not that easy. So let me tell you a little bit about what happened. This goes back, we launched in August 2012. The contracting effort started in November 2011, maybe a little before then. It was an NZP project, but it was really FONS, Friends of the National Zoo, XCO Digital, and we brought on Cortina Productions because there was nobody at the zoo at that point in time who could do the content. The target audience were visitors, on-site and virtual, no budget. Here are the results. This is a paid app, $1.99, okay? 35,000 downloads so far. People say it's about the panda cams, it's not. The people who download this app download it because they are on-site. And I think the zoo, along with a lot of our ideas and a good business strategy, we came up with a great marketing plan. So #1 travel app, depending on the day, okay, in the paid app. Number 60 top grossing, you can read these. We've enhanced the visitor experience. Our reviews have been top reviews when the webcams are working, okay? When we don't have good webcams for the pandas, we get a lot of complaints, as we should, but it has really nothing to do with us. We're dependent upon the zoo feed. For that. And we provide incremental revenue to the zoo. Every month we send them a check, okay? So that's how that's working. And the checks are not small. So users, I can tell you that the reason people are downloading this app is because they see signage at the zoo. So we got the folks, we call them the sign police, to agree that this was a good idea to have some signage. It didn't cost them any more, okay? They would have to put up some banners anyway. So this was a banner that was already, a place for a banner that was already existing. We said, can we get in the rotation? They said, let's try it. This was at, I don't know, maybe 5 different entrances at the zoo, and it proved to be a huge thing. The other thing that they did on all the maps, these are the maps around the zoo, they put a sticker on that said, our app has that, okay? People standing in front of the maps see they can get an app, and they download it. It's not rocket science. Okay, but it has to be something you think about. Our app is about wayfinding. We know that that's important, okay? That's the primary reason people are downloading the app. They want to get around. They're not downloading the app to look at the panda cams while they're at the zoo, okay? When they leave and go home, they're watching the panda cams, but that's not the reason they downloaded the app the first time around, okay? So we do a great job with wayfinding, but I'm going to tell you we're going to do even a better job with iBeacon. If you're not familiar with iBeacon, read about it, okay? This is going to be a Bluetooth technology. It's available now that tells you that you're in front of something in a retail store, you're in the men's ties, in the zoo, you're in front of the elephant, okay, or whatever is important, your exhibits will actually wake up the phone and provide you a marker to say that there's content available to see, okay? So that's going to be wayfinding in the future. Today, our wayfinding is great, but it's going to be better because this is going to be an important, I think, technology for all of us. So I know you're looking at different things. You should be looking at that. The reason people do well with our apps, presidential libraries, we're on our 4th, Miami Heat, Naval Aviation Museum, World War II Museum, is they have data to understand how their app's being used. So not just about downloads, okay, but our data is in real time. This comes standard with the CMS, and we'll show you what that means, but it is updated on a minute-by-minute basis, okay? But it also shows results on specific days. Now, I can tell you that on a sunny Sunday, we have a lot of downloads. On a rainy Wednesday, we don't. But when we have a panda birth or a tiger cub birth, we have spikes, okay, as you would expect. But I can tell you that we know it's based on visitorship, okay? We know that for sure. So that'll be a good indicator for you as well on your own apps is visitorship at that particular time. This is an interesting slide. This came from our stats, from our analytics. This is a snapshot, I think, of a month in the fall, September, October, I don't remember which month. But we are seeing huge increase in iPad usage, a slight decrease in iPod Touch usage, and Android usage. All I can tell you is 88% of the downloads are to Apple devices and only 12%, okay? And this is true across all of our clients. This is not just at the zoo. So I can tell you that we do a lot of work to make our CMS publish to multiple platforms. At the end of the day, Android is less important. It'll change over time, but for the moment, this is an Apple world for apps, and it'll get better, but that's what it is right now.
Why do you have iPod up there? Just kind of curious.
Well, because kids use iPod Touches, okay? So, and with our particular platform, you can download the app, and even if you don't have a connection, you have a very robust standalone app. So iPod Touch is primarily used 80% of kids 18 years and younger. So we track that because we can. We also track every single type of Android device. But so we know what people are downloading to, and you get that in the stats. So I just thought that would be an interesting thing to throw in. A lot of it, Reagan Library is using iPod Touches to get around. We provide a rental program, not providing the devices themselves, but we track the rentals, and we do a good job with having a second app for a rental opportunity or just a giveaway opportunity if you're going to do that. As I see, you're doing accessibility now, so that can be very important. But we also do page activity reporting, and we talked to Nancy a little bit about how we might be able to extend this across all of SI, but we are tracking page activity, and we can tell you what pages people are looking at over a particular date range or whatever the case may be. So we track a lot of information. We track it by date range, and we can export it to PDF. We can email it around automatically, Excel, massage it yourself, comma separated values, whatever you want. But without this kind of information, you don't know what to change. You don't know what to adjust. I have too much emphasis on one area, not enough on another. So analytics are the key to keeping apps fresh and to making sure that the content that you think is relevant is in fact relevant. So that's very important. The other thing I'll tell you is I think we had a dynamite marketing plan, okay? Not only did we have a good plan, we executed on it. And I think that's, sorry, just don't want to touch anything. But that becomes critical. So let me tell you what our plan was, and this was developed with the folks at the zoo. Strong branding. So they came up, their graphic artist came up, Michelle did a great job, came up with our app has that, okay? That became, we know the zoo's about the pandas, and that became the kind of the hallmark logo that's been used throughout all of the campaigns. But we had a lot of on-site initiatives. We had staff wearing buttons that our app has that. Okay, so everywhere you went, there was a reminder, whether it was on banners or on maps or whatever. Web presence, they did a great job with the landing pages, okay? Social media, very active there. And these aren't extra cost items. These aren't things that, they had some people that spent some of their day or some of their week promoting things, but they didn't write a check to anybody other than paying the salaries that they had now. And to the extent that, the Smithsonian would let us, we would try to do some things at XAO Digital, but in the agreements from contracting, we're limited as to what the developers can do to promote your own apps. So that's maybe another contracting opportunity. We're handcuffed, not really allowed to do that. But the PR was good, and it wasn't just initial PR. Almost every press conference they will mention, and download the app, you can get more information there. So you've got to get the communications folks to recognize it's important to continue to mention the apps moving forward. And print in the Zoogoer magazine, I would say every other month we have a nice quarter page or half page ad for the app that they create over there, which has been very good. It is about engaging, but it's about creating this two-way conversation. Everyone talked about it earlier, but it's social media, it's sharing. We have a great, really interesting photo booth opportunity for taking pictures or adding ears or noses and emailing it around. Again, fun stuff, puzzles, contests. You know, it was great to hear about the games. All those things are important. If you create this two-way conversation or opportunity for fun, you will have an app that people will use and go back to. And it's because we're changing it as well. So the lessons we learned, okay, coordinate departments, get everybody kind of on the same page, establish the goals. You can try to define your target audience, okay, but in our case it was really on-site visitors, hoping it was going to be virtual visitors well. You've got to have a marketing plan and have people who are going to raise their hands that they're going to follow through on it. Not necessarily a costly thing, it's just more of a follow-up item. Set roles and responsibilities, I'll talk a little bit about that. This has not been talked about. Separating technology requirements or efforts from content development, okay? We are in the technology business. We're not in the content business. You guys are in both, okay? Seems like you're in both. I'm not saying that's good or bad, but you get the results where you have the most expertise and where you focus. So just something to think about there. You gotta be prepared to keep the content fresh. If your app can't be updated on the fly with a content management system, you're handcuffed. So you've gotta be able to not only keep it up to date, but somebody has to be doing it. We do that on behalf of the zoo. Okay, they give us access to their assets and we update it. Sometimes we ask permission. When we don't get an answer, we just post it. And they're happy we do, but you know, there's a process. Measure the results and then adjust your content accordingly. So those are the things that we learn that you not just must do, but you need to do in order to be successful. And if you do those things, you will be successful. This is how we divided up the roles and responsibilities when I talk about separating certain efforts from the vendor or the developer versus what is being done. This is how we separated the issues, or not the issues, the opportunities, I should say, roles and responsibilities there. I won't read these off, but you can kind of see where you know, certain roles were placed. And this has worked very well for us. You know, sometimes there's some challenges, but they're mainly just trying to get people's schedules coordinated and things like that. So this has worked very, very well at the zoo. So that's been really good. So, you know, I think the, sorry I'm not getting to the last slide, but I think that basically what we're saying here, hold on one second. Oh, there we go. I'll go back one slide. Okay, there we go. And we're going to make these available, right? We'll have these.
Yes.
Yeah. So everybody will get these. If you can't copy them down now, you'll take a look. So the results have been outstanding, and this isn't, you know, the App Store results go up and down. I can't tell you that we're always going to be number one. But we're ahead of Kayak Pro, okay? You know, as a paid app, that's pretty incredible, okay? And then one day in October, we were number 60 in the entire App Store. Now that goes to show it doesn't take much to move the needle maybe, but it's just amazing to us that a paid app could achieve these kind of results, okay? Paid app. So I can't tell you everything that's going on, but stay tuned. There's going to be a great press conference at the zoo announcing a new initiative. It is going to involve the app and possibly a standalone app, and it has to do a little bit with tracking animals in the wild, okay? But there's some technology out there that the researchers are using. We're going to make that available to people on the app. I'll save the thunder for them, but just to let you know, hopefully we're not being recorded and being sent back to the communications department at the zoo, but that's what's going on there.
You are being recorded.
Oh, well, whatever, you know. And then I have to tell you that a partnership works well if it's a true partnership and the developers involved in different aspects. I think that resonated here today. And that's really it. It's been a great experience, and we appreciate the time and the opportunity here. Thanks. And we'll stick around for later. Thanks.